Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, January the 27th, 2020. It is now 5:30 p.m. and I now call the San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. Both flags. You rise, please. Start with the U.S. flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next item is our roll call. I will begin with my far right.
Laura Rodriguez.
Leroy Gonzalez, City Juan Finance.
Rico Garcia, EDC attorney.
Leonard Juan, EDC director.
Marco Villegas, Commissioner.
Arturo Guajardo Jr., President.
Israel Garza, treasurer.
Pedro Contreras, Secretary.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think we are missing two board members at the time, Mr. Bob Garza and Mr. Ernesto Guajardo. Maybe they'll walk in, maybe they won't. Next item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have anybody registered for public comments today? Welcome, Mr. Garza. Mr. Bob Garza has now joined us here at the meeting. Nobody signed up for public comments? Okay. Then we will move on to our finance report, item number 5. Mr. Arjona?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Tonight we have the finance report for the EDC. I brought Mr. Leroy Gonzalez, the Director of Finance, so he can give us a brief explanation on it, unless you have any questions you would like to jump into it, but he's here to answer any of those questions.
Sure, thank you. First slide. Is there anything in here, Mr. Arjona, that we should be
No, honestly, we went through it, Mr. Gonzalez and I, we didn't see anything that was sticking out of the ordinary. However, I asked him to come over just in case there was any questions on any type of expenditures. This is just the budget report, or pretty much the end of the month expenditure report. And it's there's a favorable percentage that we use. I think we're pretty much in line with that.
Any comments, concerns, questions from the board?
Mr. President, I have a question in reference to this budget. Was everything squared away from the Noche de Paz? Everything was squared away with the amount the EDC was going to participate with, and all
Yes.
of that is squared away with?
And as a matter of fact, that we still have not sent an invoice to the EDC, but we're about to do that this week and not next week.
Okay, so it's not.
That answered your question.
Yes, Mr. President.
Well, there's still a pending invoice. There was gonna be, how did the tree thing come out, Ben? Did it all work out? I know we
Yes.
participated, and then you were gonna try to get some sponsorships, and you said perhaps if there's more, we could get a reimbursement.
As far as on the Christmas tree, which was pretty much everything used for the event. We did get the sponsorship from the EDC, and the other sponsors were pretty much for the whole event, the Christmas tree and the event. So at the end of the day, no, we didn't come up on the positive side like we wanted to, but we were very close to that.
Maybe next year, because now it's already
It's gonna
paid
be there
for, you're
already.
gonna continue to use it,
So
right?
the sponsor that we were given next year is not going to be used towards the purchase of it. So it'll be used towards the
Right,
towards the
it's
event.
already been purchased.
Pretty much.
And I guess, where's the tree gonna be stored, if I may ask? I mean, in
Well,
the
right now-
humidity control and everything? We don't want
Currently,
it next
that's
to
what we're
open the
looking. We're looking
boxy.
for a building.
Yeah.
I thought we had one, but because of the fact that the panels are bigger than a regular, it's in the trailer currently, but we need to move it at a controlled environment.
Right, because you don't want to open the box and it's all falling apart next year.
So we're making some room over at the by the wetlands at that building over by building maintenance. We have a couple of portable buildings. They don't fit through the door though.
Wow.
So we're doing another. Let's do it through at the maintenance department. So that's what we're gonna try to accommodate all of them, all of those panels.
Any other questions, board members? Do we need action on this, Ben?
No, sir.
No
Just a
action required?
presentation.
Okay, if not, we'll move on to our next item. Are we good with that, gentlemen? Our
The
next item is presentations. We've got one presentation under business membership.
Yes, on this presentation, I know we brought it over for y'all's review, I want to say maybe 7 months ago, on what the goals were from the EDC to the businesses. And one of the things that we came up with was maybe having some sort of like a business membership towards, that would pay us. And with that membership, there was gonna be several benefits. We have a PowerPoint that was created by Ms. Laura Rodriguez. And along with that, we're also looking into revamping the webpage. How is it that we're gonna be working with the webpage? That's something that will be more enticing to the city, to the EDC, to businesses, something newer, something that when you click on the San Juan EDC, it'll attract businesses to see what's available in San Juan instead of just looking at a couple of pages that are there floating. So one of the things that we're working on is not only revamping the webpage, but also initiating that membership type of benefits for businesses. And one of those is gonna be like, let's say that something like the Chamber of Commerce does it, whereas they participate in a certain membership fees yearly, and that'll take, whether it's marketing, whether it's promotional, whether it's exposure to our social media, and that's some of the things that she's gonna be discussing here. So we can have Ms. Rodriguez come up to the podium and go over that presentation. We're gonna be working together with the marketing company, yes.
Good
Hello.
afternoon
Good
again, Ms.
afternoon.
Rodriguez, welcome.
Thank you. So we're gonna be working on marketing. So what we wanna do is have like a fee for the businesses. We don't know what, 300, 200, so that would be per year. And we would offer them Facebook, Twitter, our webpage at the EDC, and then we would have like all, maybe like an expo of the best salsa or the best botana, or have a,
No, the whole intent here is that once we get all these businesses into the city or the EDC, and let's say, we know we have about roughly a little bit over 300 businesses within San Juan. So the goal is, let's get as many of these businesses participating into the EDC so that eventually what we can do is, maybe once a month or every other month, have some sort of like showcasing these businesses into the city or the EDC per se. And what she's saying about an expo, the Taste of San Juan, what is it that these businesses have to offer? I mean, we only know about certain businesses that where we live by, that we pass by. Oh, there's a business here, there's another restaurant. But I want to make sure that these people that are participating, let's say there's 20 taquerias, we have Denny's, to come out here and say, this is what we have, this is a taste, so that we'll open it up to the public, and that'll be exposure to them. And this is part of the marketing side. This is part of the exposure on the social media, on the web pages. And that's what brought Mr. Carr over, so that if you have any questions on the webpage, he's here to answer any questions as far as revamping the webpage. Because what we want to do is want to tie in that webpage with the marketing group, so that the EDC can be exposed to the next level, whereas currently we have, there's an EDC website, but that's about all that we have. Definitely. That is correct.
Good and talented they are and what they can provide.
Right.
With the guidance of the city and working hand in hand, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right. And
We should be able to attract.
Right. We are currently working on our webpage and also on the EDC side, so that the city's webpage is going to be revamped as well, so make it more attractive to the citizens, complaints, suggestions, and stuff like that. And also on the EDC side, what do we have? What does the EDC have to offer? What are the statistics as far as businesses? So we want to entice potential developers to come over to the city of San Juan, but what is it there that is available so that they can take the data and put it into their equations? And we don't have any of that at this point. So this is where all of this is coming to.
Like a part of the EDC page, like the Taste of San Juan, and it gives you a listing of all the eateries.
and where to go.
And stuff like that, and something that actually they can look at the restaurant, they choose it, and it actually gives you a map of where the locations are going to be at. And it's basically for our tourists.
Right.
I think something like that, or maybe work on something where, I know our phones sometimes get messages, And maybe somebody come into the city of San Juan, you know, the Taste of San Juan this month or the week or so
Right,
forth.
and that's gonna be one of the goals, is to showcase some of these businesses on a monthly basis. This month is gonna be, and I'll say X, Y, or Z are gonna be showcased. So on that month, we're gonna be blasting our social media, Twitters, the Facebook, hey, this is the business of the month, or these are the businesses of the month. It may be more than 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how many we have and depending on the membership that we have. So that, I mean, we only have 12 months to play with. And depending on how many businesses pitch into it, then we'll just divide them into 12. And those are the ones that we're gonna be showcasing. Now, it's not only necessarily the eatery place, but also the car dealers, the people that sell magazines, the people that do embroidery shirts, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of these businesses. We're working with the city so that they can get, and I think Ms. Martha has them. She has all the businesses that we currently have, and we're gonna start passing that out once it's approved, once we get your blessings. Once we get the number, the amount of money that is going to be on the membership fee, whether it's 300 is gonna get you here, 400 is gonna get you this other thing. Because with the city, on the city side, what we're looking at is do a quarterly newsletter, and that's going to be showcased as well. This is the businesses or the business of the month. Come and visit them. This is Mexican food, this is American food, this is burgers, or whatever the case may be. So we're gonna try to showcase all of that, and that's the goal.
They would get, like, they'd be on the newsletter. They'd be invited to the city events that we have, like Noche de Paz. We can expose them there. We can, 4th of July, you know, invite them to participate or to sell. Upcoming events, ribbon cuttings, Yes, so we're working with a marketing group, and they're, yes, we have. We've been meeting with them.
Yes, I have
And
several
they-
occasions. Yes, right.
I would think it'd be a good idea for them to come and introduce themselves to this body as well.
I will do that on the next meeting. I'll bring
Oh,
you.
yeah. No, I've never met him before.
Invite them over,
And-
kind of give them some direction.
And there's an item on the agenda that after that, we'll bring them over so that they can introduce themselves and see what is it that they're working on. Right, and then if there's any ideas as to what you may want to see, they can work on that.
So, who's actually is going to be assigned to do all this work? The presentation was great in reference to what's going to be on the web page, what's going to be advertised, what's going to be out there, but I'm thinking, who's going to actually physically get all that done?
As far as the inputting to the system, or
Well, I mean, it just doesn't occur by itself, right? So who's inputting that information?
Who's updating?
Yeah.
Who's updating?
yeah, and that's going to be work that Laura is going to be working on, along with going out to the businesses, along with doing some inputs with our IT department. So IT department is going to be in charge of upkeeping the web page. We currently have it with somebody else that is contracted, but just to put everything into, I guess, under one umbrella, we're bringing in the IT department to take care of that. Any type of updates, upgrades to the web pages, it will be in-house. We don't have to go with anybody on the outside. It'll be in-house. I'm putting that currently under administrative fees that we're currently paying the city, so it's being covered. Yes.
Update, any contest, it's gonna be in-house, entered in-house and kept up. Maintain it, okay. The next question I have is, I also wanna be careful in reference to, if we're gonna ask, businesses for membership fees, we also request businesses to help us sponsor events, so let's just be mindful of that.
Right.
Good, thank you.
Thank
Thank you for the
you.
information. I think it's a good idea. Appreciate it. Move on to our next item. 7.1, discussion and possible action on ratifying the authorization signature users for Lone Star National Bank.
Yes, as you recall, last week or the week before last, Ms. Martha was going around asking for signature and trying to get the signatures. And so we're just asking to be ratified, the motion. because we needed that, last week in order for us to continue with the
Did we
normal-
get all the signatures that we needed?
Yes.
Everyone has signed, so we just need a motion to ratify.
So move.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Unanimously. Item 7.2, discussion and possible action on joining the Texas Downtown Association. I know that this was mentioned at our last meeting to start looking at downtown revitalization again,
Good, good.
and perhaps joining that organization to kind of steer us through there, right? So that's why this is on the
Yes,
agenda.
this is the reason why we call the, this, organization, because we were a little bit confused as to what membership. $200, but we didn't know whether it was per member or was it per organization, so we called them, they affirmed that it was per organization, so we're looking at about $200 a year to be members of this, what do you call this, downtown, rehabilitation type of a program.
Downtown Association. Texas Downtown Association.
It's on the, it's here, in the packet? It's in the packet. But if you give us approval, we'll, proceed with that, and we'll submit it.
I so move.
Got a motion and a second to go ahead and authorize our director to allow us to join this association, the Texas Downtown Association. All in favor, Sure. Any discussion?
Okay, yes. So, as I'm flipping through this, I see the association's going to provide us with contacts and services in communities dedicated to downtown development and revitalization. So our goal is to utilize this association to guide us through receiving funds from the state or from the government, or what is our goal? And I'm for becoming a member. I just want to see where we're headed with this.
I think with this,
Like puts us on like a fast track, you know, because
Right.
the organization.
I think it's gonna be a tool for us to reach out and see what other cities are doing and maybe get ideas from what they've done before. As far as us seeking grants, we'll still have to go through our grants writers and see what's out there, what's available, so that we can apply. But use this as a tool as to what other cities are doing, and maybe visit or attend one of their conferences and see what other people are working on, and see what's worked for others, and maybe we don't do a mistake that did something that didn't work for somebody else.
I know that we've dealt with some of this before, and that's pretty much set when a building becomes a historical building, the guidelines are pretty much set of what can and cannot be done. But this is a good thing. I mean, I just want to know where we're headed with this.
I think we had a discussion last time, and I think you were out, we put a little package together, kind of, and basically it was the same thing we put a few years ago together, and was Mickey McCarthy put together, and I just kind of brought it up to the table and talked to the guys. I said, we need to start, communicating and be able to start something. So this is the process, basically. They wanted to join this, which is great, to get more info on that.
Like a trail or a walk, historical trail from the Basilica downtown, and like
And that was the, I think that took place back in 2015, 16, when there was a little bit of a monies that the city applied for, and they gave us a grant, and I forget what the money was, but the thing was to update or upgrade the sidewalk coming from the Basilica all the way to the Business 83. And if you look at the Basilica on the west side, there's a new sidewalk and a few pavers all the way from the frontage all the way to First Street. And then the idea is to continue further on both sides. But obviously, we're still reaching out and looking for grants to make that available. That is correct. Right. No, this is not a historical thing. This is just downtown.
Downtown revitalization. I don't know if you all have been down to Westaco or Mercedes. Westaco has beautiful lights at night. I don't think they've done all the pavers or anything like that, but, you're looking at, like, for instance, FAR, how nice it looks, so that's all basically what we're trying to. Right, right, exactly, yeah. Westlaco put some beautiful lights underneath the expressway and stuff like that, so, right.
So at our last meeting, Mr. Contreras, Mr. Garza brought us a
Good deal.
study that had been done back in the day. He says, why don't we revisit this and use it as a tool for us to kind of guide us along again to do good things for downtown San Juan. So this is the beginning of it. Just become a member of this association and then we'll steer the ship as we desire.
Guys, I mean, that's a perfect question. I just wanted to say that I really not appreciate, but I mean, I like the way it's going because everybody seems to be on board and wanting to start maintaining downtown and making it a focus for someone. Of course, for other reasons or not, throughout the years, it's not been accomplished or there's always a setback, but it seems to me that right now we have the ability to go 100 miles an hour and try to do whatever we can to update.
And just so you'll know, I met with our grants writer, not Hollis Riley, but the other gentleman. And what I asked him was that let's see if there's any type of grants that, you know, that will go hand in hand with this.
Everything.
And maybe for some decorative lighting, some benches, some little canopies along the way that'll make it a little bit more attractive, a little bit cleaner in the sense that the aspect of it. And that's what they're working on currently, looking for something out there that maybe we can do some
Landscaping, you
landscaping,
mentioned
right,
last
yeah.
time as well.
The last time I talked about, we also discussed the landscaping on the right-of-ways of the state, which is on the sides of the bridge. So I know, Mr. Arjona, you've already made
Yes.
contact with TechStot, and I think the ball start rolling on that also.
It is going to. The only thing they're saying is that because of all the construction that is going to be taking place, they're recommending that hold off a little bit on that because if we do some improvements on it, they may come back and say, you know what, I'm gonna have to redo all of that. So what they're saying is hold off on that. It's a good idea. It's doable. The lighting under the overpass and the landscaping. We even thought about a monument that'll say "Welcome to the City of San Juan," but they're asking us just to hold off on that.
I think they're gonna change the exit from what it sounds like, the
Off and on
exit
ramps.
Off and on
Ramps are gonna switch.
to I road, so.
They're gonna change a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Only sounds like.
Any other comments or concerns on this? Okay, we've got a motion and a second to go ahead and authorize Mr. Arjona to make us members of this organization. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Next item is item 7.3, discussion and possible action on approving mini grant for Ivy League Pre-Academy.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have Ms. Gonzalez here with us. She came over by the office to apply for a mini grant on the Ivy League Prep Academy. Ms. Gonzalez would like to come to the podium and talk about it. But this is a daycare center?
It's a development center.
Development.
So, good afternoon, Board and Commission. Thank you. My name is Abby Gonzalez. This is my mother, y'all know Ms. Murillo. I have been in the early childhood development, I guess, education service for quite some years now. And I've worked from a daycare to our PSJ district where I oversee a grant right now, and it all deals with 3- and 4-year-olds. I know about the regulations that are required from the state in regards to what should be happening at a center, even in our district campuses, in our classrooms. And I got the opportunity to visit a center that was put together by Julian Castro in San Antonio. That facility is called Pre-K for SA. Their focus there is to teach, which is called play-based learning, and it's all educational purposes through play-based. Nowadays, our children are, if you go into a classroom, you see a lot of rote, a lot of drill and kill, and you don't see that joy in the child as they're learning. And I got to see that with my son, that they lose the love to read, they lose the love to learn. Why? Because they're not enjoying the learning. So when I had that opportunity to visit that center, and I'd had, in the back of my head, I'd always wanted to open up a child care center. But when I saw that, I said, that's new, that's innovative. It's not happening here yet. The development, the learning of that, it's higher order thinking. They're playing, but the playing is, it's higher order. And there's a process for that, there's a training for that, and it doesn't just happen in the classroom, but it happens outside as well. I don't know if y'all were able, if y'all made copies of this to provide.
Yeah, we have.
Part of our package.
So outside, you visit a lot of these facilities and what do you see? Structures that are plastic or metal. Nothing that really makes the child think about, you know, what's the purpose of this? When you can have recycled tires out there, PVC pipes out there as well. If you can see a lot of these pictures in here, you'll see that there's thought put into this. You know, I can go through each one of these and explain how, you know, how it impacts a child. But research says that children learn when they love what they're doing. So I guess my purpose for being here is because when I started putting the center together, I really didn't think it was going to be that costly because it was all like environmental items. But as I started spending and I started seeing my budget going down, I said, "Pues let me try and see if the city of San Juan will, you know, be willing to help me, you know, set up this particular development center." It is going to be placed here in San Juan, and it's different.
Are these actual photos of the center today? Of yours?
No,
Oh.
no. These are items that I want to put at my center.
Are you building a building, or are you already?
The building is already there.
There.
So you're not open today yet?
No, no, it's in the process. But that's why I'm here, you know, asking for y'all's assistance to help me, you know, move along with that and move it forward. It is at 602 West Highway 83. It's right almost next to where Dairy Queen is at. Next to Trevino's Muffler Shop, right next to it. Yeah, well, there's the monument place is right next to it. Yes. So it's 3 suites in that building. There are 3 suites.
Where at it?
Next to step right.
Where's-
Have the stoppers.
Oh, yeah. Right here.
Barbecue
There's
place
A3.
used to be
Right there
next
where
to
that
it.
little curve is.
So what I'm trying to implement here, and not to bring it in, Mr. Arjona, but this is something that I also presented to Mr. Arjona that I want to do within our district. So eventually, I'm hoping that it'll come to y'all for approval of that as well.
Yes, the application here before us is a mini grant. And like I explained to Ms. Gonzalez, is one of those that, like what we've done with in the past, is at $1,000 and a reimbursable up to $1,000 on supplies or marketing or anything like that. Okay. Right. Yeah, they'll bring us the receipts. No. Yeah, and we'll give them the $1,000, right?
You filled this one out, right?
I filled 2 applications out. I don't
The
know.
other one will be discussed in executive session because I don't want to.
No, I'm only asking if you filled this out because what Mr. Luna just explained is on here, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Jim, just to clarify something, I need to, basically not vote on this. Well, yeah, exactly. No, not excuse myself, but not, abstain, should I say, I lost the word, abstain, because, me and Abby have done business. She buys furniture at the furniture store that I own, so I'd like
Okay.
to.
We will have an abstention when it comes down to voting. Whatever the wishes are of the board.
I'd like to make a motion
You
to
guys
approve.
ready? Any more discussion?
Motion.
He's got a motion to approve
Were we gonna discuss it in
and a
closed session?
second.
Oh, no.
Do you have an amount?
No, it's right here.
It's right here.
Oh, but you're saying because it
says up to.
exceeds, oh.
This is the mini grant that we're approving, up to
Yeah.
$1,000.
Right here, it was checked off. What she's trying.
Okay, I see
That's
what
what the motion is
Mr.
for.
President, your question is it up to 1,000 then?
It says up to 1,000, so
Okay,
do you
okay.
state an amount or you don't state an amount?
Well, it's
or-
usually being up to 1,000, not to exceed $1,000.
Okay, oh, and they're bringing in the receipts is what you're saying?
Right.
Is that your motion, Mr. Villegas?
Second.
And I got a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And we've got one abstention, the motion carries. Congratulations and good luck to you.
Thank
We wish
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 8A, the San Juan Economic Development Corporation, going to go into executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon's Texas statutes and codes, annotated Government Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.087. It is 6:01. We are now going into executive session. And I'm reconvening this San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting. We are out of executive session. Board members, do we have any action to take on executive session?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have, action on executive session on number 3. Number 3, the SMK Media amend as discussed in executive session, please.
I second.
Got a motion and a second to amend the contract with SMKT as discussed in executive session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else?
No.
Got a motion to adjourn?
First, move.
Got a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.